This is a line. Y equals mx plus b. I know that that's a line because last year I tutored 8th grade math, and that's what they told me, that that's a line. Life was unimportant. Quick show of hands, how many of us have studied 8th grade math? Oh, you know, I'm going to put you on the spot now, right? Yeah. Because if you know that that's a line, if you studied 8th grade math, then tell me, what is the y-intercept of that line? Go. Of course, the middle school math teacher's going to tell us the answer to that. I don't know about you, but I don't remember learning that necessarily in 8th grade math. You? Which is why it's probably a good idea that this year I'm not tutoring 8th grade math. This year I'm tutoring 6th grade math. With questions that are a little more my style, right? So here we are with a question from 6th grade math. Here we have two pie charts. Tell me the shaded area of each pie chart. In the first one we have 3/4. We see that? 3/4. In the second one we have 3/10. Question, which pie is larger? Is 3/4 or 3/10 larger? Go.
The same.
The same. So 3/4 obviously is larger than 3/10. If I offered you 3/4 of a pie or 3/10 of a pie, which would you prefer? 3/4. Unless you're being extremely good about that diet. 3/4 and 3/10. Because in today's readings we start talking about math. In today's gospel, Jesus dares to suggest that that widow who only put a few coins worth a few cents in the treasury, that was worth more than the guy who brought his heifer and some sheep and some bushels of wheat. Follow me? How is it that those few coins were more than that, the heifer, the sheep, and the wheat? We know the answer, right? Because she was giving a larger percent of what she had. In fact, in today's gospel, Jesus said she gave everything she had. All she had were those few coins. Instead of holding on to them, waiting to get a few more coins, she decided to trust God and to open up her hands to share what she had. That was the widow in today's gospel. In today's first reading, we have the story of another widow, a widow who lived in a village called Zarephath. In a village called what? Zarephath. And in the village of Zarephath, there was a widow with her son. And we know that widows and orphans in the gospel were in sad shape. So when the prophet Elijah came and said, "Excuse me, but could you please get me some bread? Would you share with me some bread?" What did she say? She said, "I am sorry, but you are talking to the wrong person. Because all I have is this much flour, and I'm a widow. There's no way I'm going to get more flour than this. This is all the flour I have." Question, can you make a lot of bread with this much flour? Not a lot. She said, "All I have is that much flour and just a little bit of oil left in my jar. And once I make this loaf of bread for myself and my son, that is the last meal we're going to have because that's all that we have." She baked the bread. Did she keep it to herself? What did she do with it? Even though it was all that she had, she divided it into 3 for her, and her son, and the prophet to all have a little bit of bread. Did you hear how the story turned out in today's first reading? Because she shared the little bit that she had, what happened? God blessed her. In fact, that jar of flour never went empty for the next year during that drought. And the bottle of wine, the jar of wine, it never... Wine. Oh. Elijah, come to my house, you're saying. And the jar of oil never ran out. All because she shared the little bit that she had. Today's first reading talks about another guy who shared what he had. His name was Jesus. How much of his life did he share with us? Did he share with us just a little? Did he share with us just 10% of his life? He gave his life 100%. For whom? For you, for me, for us. 100%. It reminds me of the people that we celebrate every November the 11th. What is today? Veterans Day. Why are we thankful to veterans? Because these are people who risked giving 100% of who they are for us. Isn't that what we celebrate today? Parents, grandparents, aren't these the people who sacrifice themselves, who will give anything for their kids? We know what that sacrifice is, which is why today's readings of the widow in the gospel and the widow of Zarephath and of Jesus giving his life in today's second reading, they all lead us to one question. Not how generous were they, but how generous are you? Sisters and brothers, can it be said that we're like the widow in today's gospel, giving all that we have, our whole livelihood, all that we are and all that we do for the sake of God and others? Are we like the widow in today's first reading, who even though she only had a little, she was going to be generous with what she had? Are we like Christ, willing to share our lives with others? Let us say.